right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mello, this is Mike Bennett with AISG, here with Eric Stevens, CPI, Regional LP Director at Bed Bath & Beyond family of companies. We're going to ask a few questions today, and I feel that Eric has been on the forefront of a lot of new technologies, and he's going to be able to tell us what Bed Bath & Beyond is doing and how these technologies can help him. So let's get started, Eric. Can you define the objective of your video surveillance program?
Sure. I mean, I think like with a lot of companies, our goal has always been quality video capture. You know, not only in the front end where a lot of the theft and activity takes place, but also in receiving to ensure that we don't have anything going out the back doors. So we basically cover the doors. We try to do it overtly with, you know, fixed cameras, dome cameras, so people can see that. We also do it covertly, so that when we have a specific area of loss, we can drop a covert in and understand the root causes for the losses in the area.
Interesting. Historically, how have you worked through achieving this goal?
Well, candidly, we put cameras limited. It really is that we really have been a minimalist type approach to it, where we try to get a good shot with cameras, but try to get a lot in the shot as well. 4 or 5 cameras in certain stores to
Sure.
try to get what's really important.
Fairly certain you're not alone in that.
No.
Budgets are obviously important. Speaking of budgets, I'm sure this is going to be one of them, but what were some of your obstacles in achieving the goal of good surveillance?
Well, when you go after it, I mean, you know, obviously your cookie cutter, if you will have a price attached to it. And if you want to go above that, you've got to come up with a great ROI as to why, how many more cases is that going to get us? How much more inventory is that going to save? And when you start combining that kind of information, you're not just talking about another camera. Oftentimes, you're talking about additional storage.
Sure. Which maybe as big a cost as anything.
It's going to keep driving that number up.
What are some of the new technologies that you're leveraging to overcome the obstacles of cost and getting better captured video?
Well, recently we started experimenting and using 360 cameras to try to understand what we could get in the view. You know, a lot of times you're taking that one camera and you're kind of maximizing out that view so that you can get as much in that video as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But then your problem is when it comes to playback, the quality is just not there.
Okay.
So we started leveraging on 360 cameras, trying to stick those in some strategic spots to see what is really in the picture, to kind of help us understand our business more globally than just the event that took place at the register. There's more that went on.
Sure.
The 360 has been advantageous to showing us, for example, with an ORC case, you can see the actual purchase that went down, but also because you have the environmental picture, if you will, the whole area, you can also see anybody that was distracting some other people, anybody that was off camera in a typical scenario, distracting, pulling them away from the scene. You can see accomplices, exit paths, exit strategies.
Sure.
As well. And the other thing is also for internal theft on the front end and that kind of thing. The 360 is beneficial to showing you where your managers were at the time, where your front end supervisors were, if a cashier is doing a fraudulent refund or whatever at the time.
Sure, and I think we've already hit on this a little bit, but when you're trying to insert these IP technologies into your environments, what have been the challenges there?
Many. Candidly, the first one is for our company has been education. It's a new technology. I think in general, some retail loss prevention guys, we're kind of, well, this has worked, why change it? We're not really early adopters to new technology, so education was a big deal. I worked with AISG. Candidly, I absolutely picked Levy's mind at AISG, and he was just sharing information, just explaining from basically the ground up, you know, this is how, you know, even from splicing the cables and that whole piece and what goes into building the NVR and everything you can imagine was explained to me, so that once I understood, I was able to say, okay, this makes sense to me. Now I can convey that information to everyone else and convince the organization that, hey, listen, this is where we need to be, because
Right.
this is where the technology is going, and here's why.
Now, specifically to 360-degree cameras,
Mhm.
in my mind, one of the largest obstacles is getting quality video in a singular location, because to be blunt, it's a fisheye lens. How are you overcoming that, and how has AISG helped you do that?
The biggest challenge we had with the 360 during all of our testing was to get the 360 to dewarp. You had to save it to a NAS, which, you know, is what, network available storage. Attached storage, sorry, is, I still don't understand the
I
NAS
got one right.
concept. I still don't understand the NAS concept, but basically you have to save the image separately and then bring it back and play it through a PC with software. That really isn't realistic to our model. Our model is everything all in one. And that's where, again, conversations with yourself, Levy, AISG, with the Secure Store system, brought everything together. Secure Store can dewarp the image on the device in the store. I don't need to bring in a PC. I don't need to have a NAS storage. I don't need to have a bunch of other things going on. It's right there. So when I could dewarp the image, and I can have a store manager, he's in the building, dewarp that image. If I can have an ALPM who's visiting the building, you know, get the full picture, it makes it a lot smoother.
Sure, that's what we thought as well. That's why we brought that technology to the country. What would you say to a loss prevention team? And this is kind of a general question, I get it, but I think it's important. To a team considering to go to IP for surveillance system, that they're all analog, and what are some of the obstacles, and what would you say to those guys?
I think the most important thing is take the time to understand the technology. I think a lot of guys in our business are not willing or don't want to take the time to understand what the technology is going to do. Know or make an educated guess
Sure.
as to where the future is going to be, and learn the technology. If IP is growing at the rate that it's growing, I think IP's 35% more sales this year than last year alone. Analog sales are down, but there's a reason for that.
Sure.
Understand the technology. Work with the integrator. Have the integrator take the time to explain it. Whether it's, again, I no offense, whether it's you guys or anybody else, most integrators are going to take the time to explain. Good integrators are going to take the time to explain the advantages. Take the time to learn it.
Well, that's huge. And speaking from AISG, if anybody wants our assistance, we're willing to help you. That said, your point's valid. You're going to have a much better solution if you work with a partner that is already entrenched, ensconced in IP technology. So, and I guess lastly, this is kind of a plug. I apologize, Eric, but to your point, what would you say to an LP team that's walking by right now that's saying, why AISG?
AISG they've been great. They've taken the time to understand our company. They didn't just come in and start to sell us gizmos and gadgets and try the latest and greatest. They took the time to learn us. They said, okay, this company wants these types of things. This is how they're going to operate. You know what? We have a solution for them here. We may not have a solution for them there. They not trying to cram anything down our throats. That was most important, and I would say a considerable amount of time to learn our organization. And that's a big thing.
Absolutely.
They saw our needs and responded. You know, we, like I think a lot of other guys, we don't want to walk away from analog today. We're not going to go and spend millions of dollars to switch over our entire company to IP. Secure Store in a hybrid version gives us an answer to say, okay, wait, we still have some life cycle left in these analog cameras. Let's go ahead and use that. Let's get it on the Secure Store now through the hybrid version. And then eventually, as those cameras die off, we can replace those cameras with the IP solutions that we've been talking about.
Keeps you from having a forklift, a perfectly good analog camera.
Absolutely. And the advantage that we found is a lot of guys with price, budgets, scares the heck out of everybody. Understanding the technology was able to get us in the price points that made sense for our business.
That's great. Eric, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I think that was pretty good.
That was good, yeah.
I mean, you're a machine.